Social media, the interwebs, does not disappoint. So, as I was drinking my latte and perusing the interwebs as I have known to do in the morning, belong to a number of health and fitness pages. And with that, you get a lot of interesting stuff. You get a wide variety of individuals who brand new to the game. Maybe they've been in it for a long time. Some are really informative. Some are really up to date on what they know in regards to exercise and nutrition. Then you have some people that, say they've been in the game for a while and they're kind of clueless. And then there's the smattering of new people who, because they go to the gym for a month or two, that suddenly they're fitness influencers and they're not really 100% with the knowledge of fitness and health and all that stuff, along with, maybe they don't really know how to do the exercises that correctly. Along with this are fitness trainers. Now, fitness trainers are really interesting. I've been involved. I'm not a fitness trainer. Well, that's not necessarily true, because when I was in the military, one of my additional duties was actually training soldiers in the Army who couldn't pass their physical fitness tests and or were obese. So if you don't meet the height weight standard and you got too much insulation around you, you're flagged and you have to get rid of that insulation. And then most likely people like that can't pass their physical fitness test. So one of my duties was to learn about nutrition and exercises, and to get these people, I would be their remedial instructor for health and fitness, and getting them to the point of where they lose the insulation, pass the physical fitness test, or they get kicked out of the military. A lot of times, I would say the majority, probably about 99% of the people that I had to oversee and supervise and exercise and all that, probably about 99% passed. They were able to lose the weight, do the test, and pass, and not have any problems. You'll always have people that don't want to put in the effort. But with that being said, being an instructor in that capacity, and then giving physical fitness training for regular troops, and then I became a instructor with the United States Army with a hotel identifier, which means that's kind of a big thing. Regular soldiers train other soldiers a lot. If you're a high rank, you're going to be training lower ranking soldiers. That's just how it is. And then you train on the stuff for your next rank, so that way the person above you gets gone, you can do their job. So there's some overlap there. Requires a lot of training. So doing the training and doing all that, I was also a firearms instructor. I was an NRA certified instructor, which just means you stay awake and you take a test and pass. That's all that means. It doesn't mean you know the information. It doesn't mean that you know how to teach to get students and their light bulb to go off. And it doesn't mean that you know how to do the task that you're teaching. Okay, what's that old saying? Can't do, teach. I mean, that comes into play sometimes. And there's a lot of people like that. The thing that gets me after doing all of this, teaching firearms, pistol, rifle, carbine, stuff I did in the military, I ended up just always involved around teaching. Law enforcement, I did that for 11 years. I was a training officer, did a lot of training, gave a lot of training. Later got into security electronics, and I was an electronics technician, kind of pairs off of what I did in the military a little bit. But with that being said, teaching and training has always been fun for me, and especially when the military put me through it. And you learn how to develop course material, you learn how to teach. There's processes, there's standards, there's terms and conditions, and so on and so forth. And that's why I like teaching. I always like teaching because it's straightforward. It's really linear. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Take in some other variables, but really, high-speed training is the basics at just a faster rate. That's all it is in more moving targets. But it all goes back to basics. So now when we get into health and fitness, now that I'm retired, 56, and I'm getting, back into health and fitness, and you can check out some of my pictures and stuff, and I've done pretty good. my big thing is fitness. Now that I'm retired, and I go to the gym 4 days a week. I have a nutrition plan that I follow. 250 pounds, doing pretty decent. You can check out the pics on my page if you want. If you don't, that's fine. I just whatever. But when I see fitness trainers making videos, for the love of God, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. There, and the example I wanted to go over today is this guy, Ronnie Coleman Jr. And you might be, Ronnie Coleman Jr.? I mean, Ronnie Coleman's son? I don't know if it is. I don't think so. But here's the thing that gets me. Whether you're a fitness trainer or whether you're just a fitness influencer or somebody like me, post stuff on YouTube every once in a while on social media, or you're just an individual home DIY fitness person and you post videos, just be honest about what you're doing. And when you make titles for videos, just be honest. If let me show you what I'm talking about. So this individual here, we'll take a look at this. This is the guy, Ronnie Coleman Jr. And if you look down here, down the title, 225 for 30 reps. Now this is the beginning. I told you I was going to get it, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to take a look at this and we'll go ahead and unmute it. And remember, 225 for 30 repetitions. Now, for those of you who've done health and fitness and those of you who, lifted in high school and college, and things like that, or maybe you do powerlifting, tell me if this is 30 repetitions. Those 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Excuse me, 0, 0. Did I miss some zeros? Yeah. 0, 0. And then later on, as you'll see, it goes from maybe halves to partials, and they're not even half reps. And then it's like, okay, a little bit better. Those are some halves, and then pushing. That. When you make a video and you entitle it, it says 225 for 30 reps. In the fitness world, and here's some background on me. When I was in school, when I was in the Army, a repetition meant a full range of motion. When you do push-ups, you do push-ups. If I do 30 push-ups, I do 30 push-ups. So in other words, if I'm doing push-ups, I'm going all the way here, I'm breaking the plane, and then I'm pushing all the way out again. That's a full repetition. Of course, I'm laying down. That would be a full repetition. So if you do stuff like this, that's a partial repetition. A half would probably be about right here, and then you're going up. So when you entitle a video and you say 225 for 30 repetitions, and yeah, buddy, I got it, lightweight, nothing but a peanut, whatever. Those aren't 30 full range of motion repetitions. Without that descriptor in the front of having half or partials, that implies, and it actually doesn't imply, it means a full range of motion. So with this individual, it's just so rough. It's so rough because now what happens is that he posts that, and now you got a number of people that are just like, hey, what's going on here? Let me see if I can get here we go. So we've got a number of people who reply and kind of point out that those aren't full repetitions. Now, I just thought that this guy was, just doing his workout and things like that. And I thought, okay, well, those are a few half, a lot of partials. Those aren't full repetitions, full range of motion. And other people brought this up in the comments section. And it's like, some people are like, oh, you crushed it and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Let me see, there we go. Let's see. Oh, top comments. Well, I'm in the top comments, imagine that. But let's see. So one person says 225 for 30 half reps, question mark. And then this guy, Ronnie Coleman Jr. said, well, how many can you do? And it's like, it doesn't matter. It ends up, it's like, this guy responds, he said, it's not about what makes me feel better, it's about honesty. And to be honest with you, this gives me comfort. This gentleman says, honesty to others and more importantly to yourself. I could not lift a fraction of what you lift, but if you did 15 full reps with the same weight, that would, to me, still be remarkable. And other people chime in and saying, like this guy, he says, I saw maybe one rep complete and it was borderline. The right arm never really got all the way up on that one. The rest weren't even close. And he's talking about when he put the weight back up on the bar. But if you didn't go all the way down and then go all the way to full range of motion and extend, that's not a full repetition. So if you're doing a bunch of partials, but you titled the video as 220, 30 at 225 or whatever it was, 225 for 30 reps, exclamation mark, you're not doing full repetitions. And a number of people brought this out. Another guy says, sorry, can't count that. Time under tension rep are great for training, but you can't do them, and again, sick. Another guy says sick of half reps. Another guy said you almost got one. The VARs kicked in, and I said 30 partials equals maybe 15 full reps, maybe. I guess these days full range of motion is not a thing anymore. And so then Ronnie replies and says, do you even do a bench test? Let's do a bench contest. And let me see if I can fit this in there. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't do half reps to massage my ego or anyone else's. My physique speaks for itself. And then there's that. But he comes back and you read through the rest of the comments and basically he gets mad at anybody that points out that they're half or partial repetitions. He goes, and I don't have to shoot crap in me to get big either. And, it's just like, he makes accusations against people that are just merely stating the fact those are partial or at best half reps. They're not full reps. It's just, and the thing is, it's just like, just truth in advertising. Words have meaning, and later on, I'll show you what I ended up writing. Where is it at? I ended up, where is it? No, that's not it. Here it is. So let's take a look at what I wrote. So he posts a picture of himself, and he's in good shape. He's in good shape. And, I acknowledge that, looking good, bro, obviously takes hard work to get in the shape that you and I are in. I'm 56 and probably been working out more than you, but that doesn't matter. So congrats on killing it. But if you had titled the video 225 for 30 partial reps for finishing chest, no one would have batted an eye. Why? Because partials are great for finishing, but you didn't go that route. Instead, you get offended when people state the obvious of the partial reps. I'm not even going to say half reps. Then you get mad and strike out at people, which, by the way, does not make you look good as a trainer. Yeah, as a trainer. So I went to his page, and on his page, it actually says that he is a fitness instructor. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, I'll show you. So there it is, Ronnie Coleman, blah, blah, blah. And you go down here to his view his main profile. And it says here, where is it? About. Oh, it changed. Interesting. Okay. Oh, there it is. Profile. Fitness trainer. So he says he's a fitness trainer. I mean, seriously, you claim to be a fitness trainer, and then people point out that you're not doing what you said in the title of your video, and you're getting mad and angry and you're throwing accusations and so on and so forth, and people are like, dude, it says 225 for 30 reps. You didn't say half reps or partial reps or anything. And yeah, it just makes you look bad. So, and again, that's like what I said, 225 for 30 for partial, no one would have batted an eye. Why? Because partials are great for finishing, but you didn't even go that route. Instead, you get offended when people state the obvious of partial reps. You get mad and strike out at them. By the way, it doesn't make you look good as a trainer. It comes down to this: words have meaning. That's what people are concerned about. You obviously do the work, just focused on being truthful about what you're doing. Change the title and it's all good. And if you do that, you will have my respect and delete my comments. But I mean, there's a number of other people that called them out. This is definitely not 30 reps, so on and so forth. But unfortunately, that's what we're seeing today in today's world is words don't have meaning anymore. And since a lot of people, especially with COVID and the lockdowns, which crazy, here's the thing. A lot of fitness instructors and trainers are doing online training, which is absolutely good. It's another avenue. You can pass on good information, reliable information to a broader audience. Instead of just dealing with people one-on-one, you can now reach out and you can work with people around the world. Weight loss and fitness information stands that test, and those things will work regardless if you're in person or not. A lot of my information is what I learned in the military, and as I lifted and continued on lifting, when I did my body recomp, I took a lot of stuff that I knew, verified it against studies, from like PubMed or physiology departments of universities to find out, what is the most efficient? What are the sets and reps that you need that are most conducive to muscle growth? Or, what's good for recovery and nutrition and blah, 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 all of this stuff. So I kind of purged myself of the bro science and for my own personal edification. And I've passed this along to other people. Now, guys like this will, I've not this guy in person, but I've had people tell me when I call them out on obvious lies that they say, "Oh, you're just trying to steal students," and it's like, no, I don't have a dog in this hunt. I'm not a fitness trainer. I'm not trying to get clients, even though I could probably do so really well. I got people that ask me in the gym, "Hey, are you a trainer? I want to get in shape. You look pretty good." And I've made nutrition plans. I've made recipe plans for people. I've done, exercise routines for beginners and intermediate folks. I consider myself intermediate at the condition that I'm in. The visible abs at 250 pounds, that's not a bad thing. I do it for me. I don't charge money. I haven't in the past. Maybe it's something I'll do in the future. I don't know. But I have no dog in this hunt. I'm just, dude, if you're going to put a title on the video and you say 225 for 30 reps and you're doing maybe partials at best, then just put 225 for 30 partial reps, finishing chest move. That's all you have to do, But we're in an age now where words don't have meaning. And if you're looking for an online trainer, go to their social media page and look at how they engage the audience. Now, you're always going to have some trolls, but aside from the trolls, if their behavior is such that they end up, getting mad because they post a video saying, here I did this, when in fact they actually didn't, and then they get mad when people bring up that fact, it's a simple fact. That's all it is. And if they get mad and they start hurling accusations and so on and so forth and challenging others, to a contest or, "Oh, why don't you come down here and we'll talk about it." That shows to me, now this is just me, that person is not professional enough to be my trainer. In all honesty, if you can't, words have meaning, and if you can't articulate the truth of what you're doing in a video and the title, and then you get mad when people point it out, that's a severe flaw for me. if in an instructor, and it's been that way, being an instructor in the military and law enforcement, as a concealed carry firearms instructor, as teaching military, and being a contract instructor. Everything that I've ever instructed, if you can't be truthful in what you're doing, you're not a good instructor. It's that whole be, no, do. If you can't be truthful, then there's some places there where if you can't be truthful with yourself, are you going to be truthful for me in the information that you give me? So there's that wavering morality or ethics that kind of puts doubt in my mind. And it's like, just tell the truth. That's all you got to do. It is just another one, 30 partial reps, blah, blah, blah. And this Ronnie Coleman guy, it's like Junior, it's not Ronnie Coleman, but he posted some other videos of doing some full rep chest exercises, which is absolutely fine. And even if you can do 30 reps at 225 in a full correct form range of motion, the point is be truthful. Why are you butting your head against the wall of saying, I did this, but I did something totally opposite in the video, and then you're getting mad and offended and you're striking out and all? Why put yourself through that angst? Why put yourself through that frustration? And because people are just stating the obvious. That's all it is. Sky's blue, what can you say? But it's not, according to you, come on, seriously. Why are you inviting this undue attention that you don't want as a fitness instructor? That doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like making wild claims, unsubstantiated claims. It goes along the same vein. There was a guy that, I'd seen on social media and asked him questions. He was saying, well, you have to do this for weight loss. And it's like, no, there's actually a few different ways that you can lose weight through a combination of, you can either just do it nutritionally and have a deficit. You can have a nutritional deficit and a deficit from just doing exercises. You can just do exercises and bring yourself into a deficit. You can combine those two together, so on and so forth, and then into the aspects of intermittent fasting, which the whole point behind that is to do a calorie deficit because you don't eat during those fasted hours. So it's, all of that stuff. But when you've got people that are making stupid claims that you can post and say, hey, here's the truth, and you get mad about it, yeah, do you really want that person to be your instructor? I don't. Maybe you do. Maybe that's the thing today, is that words don't have meaning anymore. But attacking other people and being offended because you did something that obviously wasn't a full rep at all, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Just be honest. How hard is it to be honest? How hard is it to say 225 for 30 partial reps? Finisher. That's all you had to put. And none of this would have been a problem, because those of us who have been in health and fitness for a long time, and I remember when the Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding came out, I remember, so I've been around for quite some time, probably a few years. This is an over 40 group, so I'm assuming he's in his 40s. I'm 56, so I got a little bit of time on him. But yeah, just tell the truth. How hard is it? It's not hard to tell the truth. Is it? Just tell the truth. And like I said, just change the name of the video. Change the title of the video to 225 for 30 partial reps finisher. Chest finisher. I would see that, boom. I would have no problem with it. Now, yeah, people would still probably nitpick some of the, is it really chest because you weren't really contracting and so on and so forth. You will always have people that can nitpick anything to death. But for me personally, if you posted that video and it said 225 for 30 half reps or partial reps, I would be like, all right, good job. Awesome. Boom. And then move on to the rest of my morning and drinking my latte. So that's it. That's what we got. That's what got up my nose today. So just be truthful. It's so much easier to tell the truth because then it's the truth. there's comfort and peace and truth. That's the truth will set you free, and free indeed. Okay, so just be truthful. You know, I had a guy confront me online. Of course, it's always online. It's never in person. You know, I did meet one person when I was doing my firearms channel, and of course, I was an instructor, firearms instructor, shoot, move, communicate, shooting out of buildings and clearing and kicking down doors, all that stuff. This guy ended up saying, you know, hey, blah, 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 which was totally untrue. And I was like, okay, well, you know, you're totally wrong because of this, and this, based off of law enforcement training, military training, you know, kicking down doors and, you know, dynamic entry and so on and so forth. And this guy was like saying stuff that would get people killed. By the way, this guy was never in the military, never in law enforcement. It's, you know, didn't even do airsoft, but he was trying to be this instructor, this tactical instructor, and obviously he had no tactics or strategies or, you know, whatever. So anyway, kind of in the same vein, it's like, dude, just tell the truth. Just, you know, that's not how it works. Here's what, you know, here's the proof, and blah, blah, blah. I gave all that information to this guy, and he just kind of did the same thing. He got mad, wanted to send him a cape so that he could be super mad, but, you know, pretty much it's like, dude, you know, if you're just wrong, it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. Just admit it, admit you were wrong, fix the mistake, whatever it was or whatever you did, and then move on. And then I have mad respect for people that do that. So anyway, this guy ends up saying, well, if I ever see you, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, you know, don't go there. Don't say that, because, you know, the majority of us are not going to act on that. You know, in social media, you know, keyboard warriors, we will say, oh, why don't you come down here and we'll figure it out or whatever. So long story short, this guy was living in the same state as me. Matter of fact, he lived up in Colorado Springs. I was down in Florence, Colorado, and I would go up to Colorado Springs where I would teach. And I go to a Walmart before we were going to go to the range. I stopped by Walmart, you know, to pick up some donuts and stuff like that, you know, bring them to the class and everything, as it was my day to do the donut run. And who do I run into? I run into this guy that was saying all this false information. Now, at that time, everybody looked smaller on YouTube, you know, because your screen is only so big on a YouTube video. And so you don't really get a grasp of how big a person is or short or whatever. So on the comments that this guy had left me of him being, you know, a wannabe tactical instructor saying all the wrong things and being disproven, he was there in Walmart. We turned the corner, we ran into each other, and it was like the look on his face, he turned white. His eyes got big as sheet, as white as a sheet. And it ends up, it was funny because he was like this tall. So he's looking up at me. He's pudgy, overweight, not that that's a thing, but for somebody who is so tactical, he really, he was really ate up a soup sandwich. But the look of fear in his eyes, because taller, bigger, so on and so forth. Yeah, he just kind of like, I said, hey, I know you. You're that guy. And, you know, he's like, his face, his jaw actually dropped open. And so the funny thing was, I said, hey, you're that guy. I said, hey, you know, I just want to say thanks for checking out the videos. And even though we disagree, you know, I base what I teach and what I do off of, you know, the stuff that I've learned, and it's been proven this, that, or the other, you know. And if you found something else that works for you, you know, maybe it works for you, but I'm going to stick with something that's tried and true. And I just want to say thanks for, you know, leaving comments or whatever. And this guy's like, you know, he was a little dumbfounded, and you could tell he was like, oh shit, you know. And of course, I'm an instructor. I got my gun on my hip. You know, it says instructor on my shirt and so on and so forth. I was in pretty decent shape and carrying donuts. But yeah, it's, you know, if you tell the truth and if you don't mind correction, and if you accept correction, that's where you really grow as a person. If you focus on the truth, everybody's going to make bad mistakes. Everybody's going to make bad choices. But the thing is on whether you take accountability for those bad choices, whether you assess the information and say, okay, what did I do wrong, if any? Is there a way that I could have handled it better? Is there a way that I could have approached this or not responded in the manner that I did to be a more professional response? In other words, it takes some growth, it takes some accountability, it takes some learning and some adapting to being better than what we used to be. And if somebody admits what they did wrong, then I've done it. Bro, I have failed a ton, okay? But it's not how many times you fail, it's how many times you admit that you failed and then look at what you did and assess it and say, okay, well, this is why I failed, or these things are the reason that I failed. Then change those things and don't do them again. And then the other thing, I think the biggest problem with men is we don't like to apologize. When we're, and maybe it's hardwired into our DNA, even as little kids, Jimmy, little toddler Jimmy, did you take a cookie out of the cookie jar? No, I didn't, crumbs all over and chocolate on his face. We don't like being called out. And I think a genetic level, but we need that. And we definitely don't want to say sorry. For a lot of men, it's hard to say sorry. So the sooner you can learn how to objectively look at a situation that you're involved in, remove your feelings from that situation, and base it on a more logical saying, hey, okay, yeah, I did this, it was wrong according to this information, facts, whatever. Now I have a choice. I can assess, reevaluate, change, and make it right. I still need to say sorry. But some people can't even say sorry, even though they're wrong, and they refuse to even admit being wrong. They don't even want to say sorry. Don't even want to take the opportunity or the chance to say, maybe I was wrong. Why is it so hard to do that for men? I don't understand. Been there, done that. But as I get older, I'm coming to a place where it ends up, that if I hold on to the truth and if I accept the accountability for what I did wrong, and by saying it was wrong and apologizing, that thing does not have power over me. That thing doesn't define me when you apologize. The power's gone. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, I got a little deep and philosophical there at the end. But yeah, just tell the truth. It's kind of like the fishing story. Who were those two fishermen and the competitive fishing? And then, hey, these are the winners. And the judge was like, wait a second here. Let me pull out my knife. And then he guts the fish, and there's weights, lead weights inside the fish. And it ends up that they've been doing it for years and years. And I guess they got charged criminally. And I mean, we're talking big money in this competitive fishing thing. But, why can't you just focus on the truth? If you focus on the truth and, hey, it's a 3-pound fish, let it be a 3-pound fish. Don't put in 2 other pounds of weights inside the fish and say, it's a 5-pound fish. It just never works out. It will always catch up to you in some way, shape, or form. But if you can be accountable for you and your actions, and if you can reassess, make things right, and if you can apologize, that's a pretty good way for a man to be a man. So for all you men out there, do the right thing, focus on the truth, be true, and be able to accept your faults, accept your bad choices, change those things for the good, and life is so much easier. There's so much less drama when you don't have to cover everything up, when you don't have to guard yourself or be offended because somebody confronts you for doing something wrong. When you learn that, when somebody confronts me, it's like, and I've had it happen to me on social media. I, hear blah, 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 some bro science that I knew or whatever, or in other areas of my life, people call me out and then, presented me information, sent me stuff showing exactly where I was wrong. And it's like, I had the choice of either being offended and attack them or accept that correction. And I found that when I accept the correction, then it's all good. We're good. And it's like, dude, I went through the exact same thing as you. I just passed it on to you. And I appreciate that more that makes life easy. That brings us all up to speed and to become better people and definitely better men. So anyway, it's that warrior thing. You got to be a warrior. You need to be able to accept correction. You need to be able to say you're sorry, and you need to be able to change for the better. So, okay, that's it. I'm done rambling. All right. Anyway, take care. God bless, and we'll see you. Peace.